live. Welcome to episode 12 of the Maintain Your Gains Trading Group. It's Mike, your host. Today we have Imp, also known, I always call him Imp for right now. He's calling Imp for right now. Today we just wanted to kind of go over what we normally do when we start off, kind of go over our last week's trades. And so we'll let Imp go ahead and start us off. How did your last week go for you?
Yeah, so last week was, man, it was kind of rocky, man, but it ended up pretty solid for me. I ran the wheel. I had a few in small cap. I had a few in oil and gas and kind of ran the wheel with that. I'll say my biggest win was small cap. Of course, TNA, that's my favorite.
Of course.
Small cap. So I was able to come out with some gains. Actually, one of my best gains in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Good stuff.
I'm pretty strategic on that. And I actually used some of your play. Right? I did some longer positions, and that yielded me great results to close out last week. So I can't even knock that, man. That was pretty
listen. So we're gonna talk about that today because that's one thing I want to talk about because I'm still trying to convert everybody. So before we go forward with my week, what was your let's call the play of the week? What was the best thing that happened to you last week, in the stock market?
Yep. So the best thing for me was a short play on TNA. So the market, started off a little rocky and it started trending. I mean, TNA was like hit the roof last week, So I said, let me just go ahead and play this and see what I can get on Friday. And I mean, I closed that bad boy at about 67%, man.
To the moon.
And I was
quick.
Just like, I was
quick, man. There's nothing better. There's nothing better than being in a position to like less than 3 days and making like 60-70%.
Yeah.
Turning it right around, man. That's the easiest money, man. That's the best money. Quick, when it's fast money, it's so easy, man. It's so happy, man.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it, man.
Yeah,
I guess
that was good. That was like that was a good play. So I was real happy about that.
Yep. So I guess before we go to the next part, I guess for me, last week was it had its ups and downs. So last week was my big expiration week. I think about 95% of my portfolio was expiring last week. So I was in there on Wednesday. Go ahead.
Is that because you do the longer play, right?
Exactly, right. So these were going on, most of my positions at that point were around 40 days, right? Okay. So normally I'm in a position for 10 days, Imp. So we're talking 4 times the amount, because that, what I'm saying, about 4 times. My average is around 10, 11 days. I was in for 40 for some of these plays because you know the market, right? The market just went to crap. Yeah. Anyways, so, I had literally, it was the last moment, right? We were on the edge. Anyways, man, I was on Wednesday. I closed out maybe, I forgot how much of my balance, but a significant portion, maybe 75% of my portfolio, I closed out. And I think everything I closed out was at a profit between around 30% to 50-ish% of maximum profit. Didn't really get juice everything. But I did, got something, right? I got a good portion of everything that I wanted. Anyway, I had 3 other positions, man. One in Tesla, one in NVIDIA, and I had more than that, excuse me. But I had 3 closable on the edge positions. I'll put it like that, right? Okay. On the edge positions that I was waiting to see what would happen. One was Tesla, one was NVIDIA, and I think one was Amazon. So Amazon was profitable, my last one. These were on Friday, which I had to make a decision on because I waited until the last moment. And I told myself I shouldn't because I saw the opportunity on Wednesday to close them, but they were still at a loss on Wednesday. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So on Friday, when Friday rolled around, I was like, okay, Thursday was a good day. I just need Friday to be a solid day. If Friday is solid, I'm going to still take an L, but hopefully, like I was, hoping and I was out here, I was like this. And Friday, man, it didn't come through for me, man. It really didn't come through for me. So I took if I had closed out on Wednesday, I probably would have saved 4 racks, to be honest. About 4 racks if I closed 2 days earlier. But you know what? I knew that. I knew that on Wednesday that I should have closed, but I didn't do that. And that's my own fault. right? I cost myself that money. But, you live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
So I ain't tripping about it. You keep on moving and we keep going. But I guess, so that was my my last week in a nutshell. It had ups and downs. I made some and I lost a lot. but but we still rolling, man. We still going to keep rolling, man. But my best play of last week, though, was I opened up a cover call last week. And I'm very happy to have done that. I know, man. I know. I opened up a cover call of Microsoft last week. I'm back on the train like everybody else, man.
Okay.
And, you know what I'm saying? I did it. Y'all keep talking about it. I bought 100 shares of Microsoft. I finally rounded out 100 shares. I bought 9 more shares of Microsoft. I was like 91 shares. I bought an additional 9 shares. I was like, I'm running them. And I got it. So I opened up a covered call in Microsoft, and 3 days later, closed it out. About 50% probability of 50% of profit, max profit.
That's nice.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't, it wasn't about the money, but it was, I'm back on that call side. So after last week, it's been a while. It's been a long while.
Yeah.
It's been a long while. So I guess one last thing. After last week, I had 2 positions that I ran the wheel on. Not including Microsoft. I rolled the wheel on 2 additional positions on LabVIEW and an additional one called QLCN. QLCN is like a pharma biotech kind of stuff. No, it's green. It's energy. It's a green energy stock. It's a green energy ETF. Excuse me. Anyways, ran the wheel on both. I ran the wheel. I got forced into running the wheel because the price was under my strike price, so I had to buy the shares. I had to run it. I got forced into it. So right now, I have basically I'm running 3 covered calls in addition to all the puts that I'm running. So, just like everybody else, I'm back into it, man. And we're back into the grind, and we're going to continue on that grind to continue to make capital. And that's going to, be positive. So
what are your thoughts that because what as Skissel would say, the defense that the market is giving us, is it more so that we're doing this, do you think because of what the market is giving us as far as running the wheel, or do you think that it's just kind of the strategy right now?
I mean, when it's all said and done, the wheel is a strategy for a bull market, right? Like, I don't want to I don't think anybody really wants to run the wheel in a bear market. When you're of course you're making money on the calls, but because that's what the market is giving us. It's giving us call profit. But that being said, your profitability and your account balance is going to be dictated not by your options, but by your stock. Yeah. Right. You can run one covered call on Tesla or whatever. But that being said, if Tesla drops from 750 to 550, I don't care how many options you have. Yeah. You don't care how many covered calls you run in. You ain't making money. What I'm saying? That's just facts. So, I mean, we're just living what the market gives us right now. We're just taking what we can. I think Ghost, last week he said he made himself a couple of dollars, on covered calls, which would offset the losses. But still, we don't want, we want this bear. We want to get out of this bear market, and it looks like we're kind of trending towards that. But we wouldn't want to get out of this bear market.
Fingers crossed, man.
Fingers, toes, earlobes, man. Everything is crossed right now, man. Because it's crazy right now, man. But I wanted to talk to you, man. You mentioned something earlier about you're going a little deeper, going a little longer than weeklies, and going into kind of a monthly strategy. I guess I've been preaching this, from the get-go, right? I still feel that for safety purposes, it's the best. You're taking a risk regardless, but I think that you reduce the risk the most, and you get the most capital in that 45-day window. My opinion. This is backed by facts from other sources, but this is my opinion, right? So why did you get into going to a longer term strategy, and how long have you been on for? Go ahead.
Well, for me, so I had a conversation with Skissel, and he talked about kind of your strategy and his strategy and Gold's strategy, and kind of they go by week, right? It's the quick, easier wins for them, the gains for them by the week. Yes. But that your strategy kind of prevents more so the losses you could take, right? Only because you have a bigger window where the market can adjust,
of course,
and it somewhat prevents the put assignments in some ways. It's not all the way, right?
Of course, you never,
So I was like, what, I want to try a balance of both, right? I want to see if I can do a long game a little bit where I can go 30, 45 days, and then balance that with the week to week, right? And just trying to run a full cycle that way. And I like it, man. I mean, I think at first I did it on an oil and gas one.
Yeah.
And I jumped the gun a little early. I pulled
Yeah.
out quicker than I should have, you know,
Yeah.
because I got excited. But then the market changed the very next week. I'm like, dang, I could have got more. I wasn't patient, you know. And but I like it, man. I think you do minimize, because you can, you know, I set my puts. I put the time in there. I said, hey, at this price, I'm done. I can set it, forget it, and just kind of watch the market, you know, and just go.
And what I like about it, you know, is, you know, with the weeklies, like I've done weeklies. So, you know, I have done weeklies. I just don't do them because you have to be more active in the market. You have to be a little bit more active every single day. You know, I mean, of course here, you know, I'm still in the market every single day looking at what's happening. But, you know, I don't have to make a trade every day. When you're running weeklies, shoot, if it's a 7-day weekly, or if you open on Monday and it's closing on Friday, by Wednesday, you got to be out of that position.
Yes.
You know, because if by Thursday, if that market turns around, everything that you've made in those 2 days is gone. It's gone.
I've been there, man.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And the worst part about weeklies, in my opinion, the reason why I don't like running them is because the speed is so quick. Like, you can say you set your stop or your exit, your closing position at, let's say, 50% of max profit, right? Maybe you open it on Monday, by Wednesday you're at 45%. Then Thursday always for me, it never fails. Thursday rolls around, that 45% is gone, and now I'm down by 45%. You know, I'm 45% in the red on Thursday. So that, for me, I can't speak for everybody else because everybody here is profitable, but that's why I am always super hesitant about running the weeklies. There are situations where it makes sense, I assume, you know, if I'm potentially on earnings, which I think that makes more sense around earnings. But man, I think what I like what you're doing, Emp, is that you're expanding your mindset, right? You're not just doing one thing. You're at least trying to say, hey, this works. I know this bucket. This weekly bucket definitely works. Let me at least understand what the other side looks like. Because you can always go back to weeklies, or you can just stay on doing monthlies. But you get the opportunity. But if you never do monthlies, you never know what you can do. And the only difference really is the speed is slower, right? You're not getting that money. It's going to be a little slower, but that's going to also mean a little bit more stability, and you're making more you're making less dollar for dollar. But each contract is greater.
Correct.
You know?
The contract value is a lot higher on the month.
Yes. Man, I mean, you know, I said I want that journey to keep going. Like, we'll have a conversation with Emp either next week or the week after, just to kind of see where his journey is. You know, we'll just kind of
now, so
we'll talk about it, man. Like I said, you'll get that about 10 days from now. You'll be around 50% of your maximum profit. You're gonna close it, keep that money, and keep it moving. So we'll just to kind of cut this one short. You know, it's a pretty short one today. Emp, you want to add anything more before we call it a day?
Nah, man, just watching this week and see how everything plays out, man.
Yeah. Well, for me, just want to everybody know, I will be starting a Thursday edition of Maintain Your Gains. That's going to be specifically designated, well, not specifically designated, but it's going to be catered towards women. I hear a lot from women that they want to get into the market, but they don't have any kind of there's no really starting point for a lot of them. So I want to at least help, you know, get more women into the marketplace. So, you know, the greater market participation, the more liquidity that we have, right? So it's a benefit to everybody. So tune in on Thursdays. We'll be here to give you more information. I'll be giving you more information kind of coming up, but we'll start this Thursday, and we'll just talk about stocks and options more in more of a general term, kind of going from your first startup steps to, you know, kind of getting to where we're talking about now, working with options. So we'll see y'all next week. This is Mike. This is Emp. This is Maintain Your Gains, episode 12. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed week. And whatever you do, make sure that you get into the market as soon as possible, because you want to make sure that you are as profitable as you can be. See y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.